I'm recording.
This is our appraisal project. We are Long Island Appraisal LLC, and I'm Alex McNair.
I'm Lorenzo DeSico.
I'm Brandon Lawrence.
I'm Anthony Nacarado.
I'm Ethan Ploger.
And I'm Christian Romano.
All right, so here's our subject property. It's 51 Chestnut Lane, located in Levittown, New York, which is on Long Island. So here's some photos of the interior. As you can see, there are elevated ceilings, nice hardwood floors, and some crown molding. Here's some more pictures of the interior. Hardwoods continue into the bedroom. There's nice dark cabinets and granite countertops as well. Here's a picture of the bathroom. It has nice tile work, and a picture of the backyard with a large deck. So here's just some specifications about the property. It's listed for $585,000. It's a single-family unit. It's built in 1948, around 1,700 square feet, with a 1.16 acre lot, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it was last sold in 2005.
So here's just a little bit about the market, which is the town of Levittown. The median value for a home in Levittown is about $406,000, which is almost double the U.S. median. And this has to do with the fact that the median income in the area is also nearly double the national median. The occupied housing rate is 94%, which is compared to the national percent of 64%. So as you can see, the homes in the area tend to be like more popular than homes in other areas. And then the median monthly mortgage on a home is about $3,000, which again is almost double the national rate. And the poverty level is 5%, which is nearly half the US level. So based on all that, you can figure that Levittown is a pretty affluent area that many people desire to live in. And then here's just some quick facts about the county that Levittown's in. It's broken down between age and sex, race, population characteristics, housing characteristics, families and living arrangements, computer and internet use statistics, education statistics, and health statistics. And then here are some nearby landmarks for the property. The local elementary school is 0.5 miles away, with the middle school and high school being only about a mile away each. The nearest community college is only about 6 miles away. The 2 major airports in New York are only about 20 miles away and 30 miles away. And then the city of Manhattan is 33 miles away, with the desirable beach vacation spots being about 70 to 90 miles away. And then here's just the zoning map for Levittown, or for Nassau County, I'm sorry. So as you can see, in the middle is where Levittown is, and then on the right side is the council district for Levittown. And then here's just the previous sales of the property. The first sale being in 1986 for $122,000, and then the most recent sale being a month ago for $585,000, or that's when it was listed last. And then here is our aerial view of the property and its relation to the subject properties. The comparable properties, I'm sorry.
And this is just a list of the criteria that we selected for our comparables, comparing them to the subject. The most important things that we looked at were the amount of bedrooms and bathrooms, square footage, number of stories, whether the house had a garage or not, and whether it had a basement or not, and what school district it was in. And we tried to make our comparables as similar in these aspects to all the other property or to our subject property. So this is our first comparable, and this one sold this year for $565,000. All of the comparables we're going to go through are single family. This one's 5-bed, 2-bath, 1,760 square feet, and all of them are going to have a 6,000 square foot lot size, and all of them were built in 1948. This one has a fireplace added, which not all of the comparables do, and this one includes a backyard shed. Very similar in size and layout as the subject, and that you'll find that with all 6 of our comparables. This is comparable 2, which sold this year for $465,000. It has the same amount of bed and bath as the subject. The last one had an extra bed. This one's a little smaller in square footage, but as you can see, very similar again, like the last scenario, similar in size and layout, has the same amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, just 256 square feet smaller than the subject. This is the third comparable that sold back in 2018 for $430,000. Same amount of bed and bath as the subject. Very similar in square footage, only 157 square feet smaller. Both of the properties are 1 story. It and the subject don't have a garage, and neither of them have a basement either. So again, very similar here. This is comparable 4, sold this year for $553,000. 4 beds, 2 baths, the same as the subject. Very similar again in square foot size, and this one does include a fireplace. That's really the only differences you'll see, is whether it has a backyard shed or an outdoor deck and patio, which this one does have. Those are really the only differences, just the fireplace and whether it has a shed or a patio. Comparable 5 sold in 2020 for $542,000. Same amount of bed and bath. Again, very similar square footage. I think you can start to get the idea that all of these comparables were carefully chosen to be as similar as possible as the subject, and even similar to the other comparables. And this is the last one, which sold in 2020 for $595,000. Same amount of bed and bath. This one's only 49 square feet smaller than the subject, so it's really close. Has a backyard shed and an outside patio, uncovered, no garage, and 2 stories, which is kind of different than most of the other comparables.
All right, so here's our sales comparison chart. As you can see, the criteria we used were bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, lot size, year built, number of garages, and year sold. So those were the things we made adjustments based off of. So for the first adjustment for bedrooms, comparables 1 and 5 were used. They were used because they had the same number of bedrooms, very similar square footage, exactly the same lot size, built in the same year. Neither of them have a garage. And comparable 1 has 5 bedrooms, while comparable 4 has 4 bedrooms. So for bathrooms, there was no adjustment needed because they all have 2 bathrooms. For square feet, we calculated the average price for square feet for all the comparable properties, and then we subtracted or added the appropriate value based off of how different it was from the subject. Then for lot size, we used data from the Federal Housing Finance Agency, and we found out that the average land per acre in Nassau County is 1.189 million. And so then we calculated the price per 0.01 acres, which is equivalent to $11,894. And we use that value to adjust based off of the lot size. No adjustments were needed for year built because they are all built in 1948. None of the properties have a garage, so there's no adjustment needed there. And then for years sold, we used data from Redfin, and we found out that the median sale price of a residential property in 2018 was $420,000, while the median price in 2021 so far has been $505,000. So this is an average increase of $28,333 per year. So using this data, we made adjustments based off of that. And as you can see, the red boxes are negative adjustments and the green boxes are positive adjustments. And then we calculated price per square foot, and then the weight here we calculated these weight numbers based off of how similar the subjects are. I'm sorry, how similar the comparables are to the subject. So you can see we multiplied some of them by 1/10, 1.15, all depending on how similar they are. And then we added all of that up, and our final estimation for the sales approach was $562,055.07. Just to restate, according to our sales comparison approach, the property that we chose in Levittown, New York, is worth $562,055.07.
Okay, here we have our cost of construction, or our reconstruction cost analysis. And we used costtobuild.com to generate this total. And it basically just calculates the cost of materials and labor that it would take to reconstruct the house, our subject house. And that is $534,872. Okay, next we're going to be moving into the income approach, starting with the direct capitalization method. In here, the main goal is to calculate the net operating income that the property will be generating, our subject property. And to do so, we took the median monthly rent found for Nassau County, which is $1,790, and multiplied it by 12 months to give us an annual potential gross income for our subject. And then we subtracted the average vacancy and collection costs for Nassau County also, which was 5.34%. And when we deducted that, that gave us our effective gross income because there was no miscellaneous income generated on the property. And that effective gross income was $20,332.97. Then we subtracted out our operating expenses, which came from Zillow in turn, and that's our property taxes of $1,077 and $500 for the yearly maintenance on the property, giving us a total of $1,577. Subtract that from the effective gross income to give us our net operating income of $18,755.97. And then we took that total net operating income and divided it by the 7% cap rate, which was found on AIPcommercialrealestate.com for Nassau County or for Levittown. And that gave us the value of our property with the direct capitalization method of $267,942.43. Then we moved into the second half of the income approach, which is the discounted cash flows. And with this, we're going to use the NOI that was generated, or that was found from the direct capitalization method of $18,755.97. And then we're going to assume that we're holding this, our subject property, for 10 total years and selling it in the 10th. And we're going to be using the NOI in that selling price and determining or finding the present value of the cash flows using the discount rate of 3.27%, which was found on bankrate.com for the state of New York. And we had the estimated sales price in 10 years as the same as the total value of the property we found for the direct capitalization method also. And after finding the present value of all those cash flows over the course of 10 years in the sale of the house, we got a total of $352,033.12 for our discounted cash flows method. And to reiterate that again, the value of that property, of our subject property, according to the direct capitalization method, is $267,942.43. And according to the discounted cash flows method, the value of the property is $352,033.12.
Right, so using the estimates found by Alex and Brandon as stated before in the presentation, we were able to assign different weights to each approach method that we found fit to find the final estimate of our property. Our final estimate was $531,000, $531,411.73. Broken down, we used the sales comparison, which uses 6 comparable properties in the area using different features throughout the home. This is the best baseline for estimating the value of a home since it's a single family house. So we assigned sales comparison 70% of the weight. And then our next method was the cost approach method, which uses different materials and labor costs in the area and then takes depreciation into account for that. We use costofbuild.net to find the value of labor and materials. So we decided to give this weight 20% since the materials play a big factor into the house price. This is where we found it to be $534,872. And then for both parts of the income method, since the house is a single home property, there's really no income provided when someone owns the house. No one's really renting it out. So we assigned both the direct capitalization method and discounted cash flow methods, both 5%. And those were $267,942.43 and $352,033.12 respectfully. This basically goes over what I was just speaking about, how we found the sales comparison approach method and the value of $562,055.07, along with the $534,872 from the cost approach method. And then our income approaches were both $267,942.43 and $352,033.12. And then finally, our final estimate was $531,411.73. Using these methods, the 70% from the sales comparison, 20% from the cost approach, and then 5% from both direct capitalization and discounted cash flow methods. And we're pretty happy with our final estimate. When compared to values found on Zillow and Redfin, we weren't too far off from their values. We were slightly lower, a little about $30,000 short, but we're very happy with our final estimate. And this just basically says what I was just speaking about with the Zillow and Redfin comparisons, with our final value of $531,411.73.
So something that definitely had to be taken into consideration throughout the appraisal process is the effect that COVID-19 has had on the housing market. Prior to the onset of COVID-19, the median sale price of homes in Levittown was $435,000. In the month following the onset of COVID, the median price jumped 33.91% to $582,500. And then from that evidence, we can see that Levittown had considerably more favorable impact from the pandemic than most of the housing market. This can be explained partly because, as discussed earlier, the area of Levittown is very affluent and has much better economic activity than other areas. So it was able to counteract the impacts that the pandemic had. And then talking about the housing market as a whole, there were some changes in regards to the housing market. At first, the supply decreased because people were hesitant and unsure about how the pandemic would affect their possible selling prices. People didn't know how interested people would be into moving into a new house, into a new area. Just given everything going on in the world, they were worried more about their health than about their housing. But we actually, in the months following the onset of COVID, demand actually increased quite considerably as people became more comfortable and interest rates became more favorable. This demand caused housing prices to increase by 4.7% from April 2019 through April 2020. And then along that same trend, the average 30-year fixed APR declined fairly steadily. This trend was assisted by more favorable interest rates in the housing market brought upon by the pandemic. The stock market also underwent a strong positive stretch for a part of COVID, which helped to bolster these numbers. And then the facts and data that we present here regarding COVID were provided by Realtor.com and Redfin. And then, as with any appraisal process, there are inherent strengths and weaknesses. What we found helped us a lot was that all of our properties were built in 1948, which is very helpful because that way they were all built around the same time, like same economic activity, so there isn't too much of a fluctuation in the original valuation and quality of the houses. We also noticed that the appraised value of the house that we determined is very close to the value that the house currently has a pending offer on, which goes to show that the numbers that we were able to generate were very accurate and our methods were effective. And then all the comparables are very close to the subject property in proximity, and they are very close to each other, which makes them very similar. Luckily, we chose a very good area of Levittown where there isn't too much of a difference in all the houses, which makes it much more makes it much easier for us to compare one house to another, which in turn provides stronger numbers for our subject property. However, we did notice some weaknesses. The value of our subject property found in the income approach wasn't near the value found in the other approaches. Many things could have played a part in this. I think more goes to show that the sales comparison approach was very helpful for us, which is why we assigned more weight to that. And we are also least confident in the value found in the cost of construction approach in comparison to the others. And these are just all the sources that we used.